All right, guys, it's gonna be the most complete freelancing guide for beginners in 2025 if you actually want to make money, because like there's no BS and all that stuff. Because a lot of people teach you, like, oh, this is how you can get started and all that stuff. I'm gonna teach you exactly how you can make money, and I'm qualified for this because, like this is my account, this is like what I did within the first 3 months and all that stuff. So this is just pure profit. So you can actually make money freelancing, but I'm gonna give you like a full understanding of how everything works. So, first of all, we're gonna cover pretty much how to begin, also like why most people don't succeed when freelancing, how to choose a service to actually sell, how to get clients, your key to success, and of course you stick to the end. I'm going to share you some tips and bonuses that will help you a lot to monetize your services. You know what I'm saying? So you can live like this and just work at the beach and whatnot. I've tried this, is not good at all, like trust me. Like working at the beach is just not it. But yeah, just for the record, like I also like being traveling around the world, meeting cool people and whatnot. And this is all just because I started freelancing, as you can see here. So I have the results, and I'm just showing you as proof because I always tell people that you must pretty much question like what are the credentials of the people who are teaching. You know what I'm saying? Because I've done this, and I've done this many times ever since 2020, and it's like 2025. So I've been doing this for the past 5 years. So yeah, I have pretty much quite a few credentials. So just like this is just proof, so you can understand like I know what I'm talking about. So let's just get started straight up to the point. So first of all, how to begin? Okay, first thing you need to be questioning yourself, like what is your goal? You know what I'm saying? What is your goal freelancing? Is it for making money, or is it just because you want to be like doing something for passion? Let's say you have a skill and you're just very passionate and you want to offer that as a service. That's completely fine. However, I would recommend aiming for at least $3,000 to $10,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So you need to have a goal when you're starting out, because otherwise you're just pretty much like you need to have an aim pretty much. Okay, so you need to be defining your goal. Okay, why are you starting freelancing? You want to have a job, just want to feel a little bit productive. Do you want to earn a little bit more money? You want to achieve freedom? Like personally, I would suggest aiming for financial, time, and location freedom. So I would suggest like financial, time, and location freedom. That's the beauty of freelancing. That's why I started, honestly, because I wanted to have the freedom. You know what I'm saying? And usually around the 10, like $3,000 to $10,000 a month in pure profits, like will give you like a respectable amount of freedom. So I'll definitely suggest, like, first of all, aim for a proper goal. That's the most important thing when you're starting out. You know what I'm saying? Because therefore you're pretty much positioned. Because okay, again, this is a guide for freelancing, but if you don't have a goal, just like what is the use of you having some skills or how to pretty much start freelancing if you are not gonna monetize it properly? So don't worry, I got you covered. So first of all, you also need to also understand whether you have any skills and does it matter, because for example, maybe you have a skill on something that it's I don't know, maybe you're good at painting or something, and that might be your skill. Okay, so you need to be questioning if you're good at it. Maybe you're good at e-commerce, maybe you're good at copywriting, maybe you're good at sales. Maybe you have a skill. So you need to pretty much identify these things in order for you to pretty much execute. And for the record, with all these that I'm teaching you, you don't need to have any registered business. Pretty much plug and play. Don't waste any time, because a lot of people like, oh, a lot of people trying to figure out things before getting started. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, because I never registered a business when I was starting out. In fact, for the past 4 years, like I didn't have any business until like last year and all that stuff. And that was just for tax purposes. But you don't need anything to begin with. Like you can literally start today and start earning money. Well, maybe not earning money like right off the bat, but like you can literally start today. You don't have to be focusing on, oh, how come I'm gonna name my business and everything. You don't need to have a business, you need to have a name, you don't need to have anything. Basically you only need to know like your goal and how to offer a service, which I'm going to teach you in the next step pretty much. Okay, so this is pretty much how you begin. Like start with your goal, defining your goal and what are you trying to achieve. So then, why most people don't succeed? Okay, first of all, the reason why most people don't succeed when freelancing, because like these are pretty much uncommon results, and this is just like my first year. Like, so within the first 3 months I was almost like a $10,000 in pure profit. And there's a reason why most people don't succeed, and the very first thing is because they sell something that it's not on demand. And that's what I was asking you here, like, do you have any skills? Because if you have any skills that people are not willing to purchase, like odds of you making money are slim to none. You know what I'm saying? So this is the very first mistake, that a lot of people trying to be selling something they feel they're good at. And guess what? Lucky for you, you don't need to to be an expert on certain skills. So basically you don't need to have expertise either way. So that's not a problem. Like you don't need to have any expertise when you're starting out. You just need to define something that it's on demand. So then they think they do need to have like an expertise on the service they're offering. This is completely wrong. This is completely wrong. You don't need to be an expert, because for example, let's say you're an expert in e-commerce or on copywriting. You don't need to be the expert in copywriting. I'm gonna touch this upon, but like basically what I'm trying to emphasize here, like you don't need to have any expertise to begin with. Okay, Also, most people don't commit until success. They try a little bit, like they try maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, and then like, oh, nothing is working, I'm not getting any client. They get discouraged, and therefore they quit. And that's why most people fail. Honestly, they don't have what it takes, pretty much. So this is what I'm saying here. They don't have what it takes, and they get discouraged too soon. So the good news here is like, I'm here to help, because I've done this and I've done this quite successfully. So I like pretty much confident that I can pretty much explain and teach you how to do it properly, because the whole idea here is that you want to monetize it. You don't just want to learn like, oh, this is how I can get. No, you want to also understand how you can monetize it, right? So this is the very first thing you need to do. You need to be choosing a service to offer. So first of all, okay, back to the question, do I have a skill? If you have a skill, is it on demand? If yes, then continue. What is a skill that is on demand? Maybe like e-commerce, maybe like copywriting, maybe like video editing. There is many social media marketing. There's many different skills that have like a lot of demand. But maybe you are good at a skill that pretty much like it's not, like maybe you're good at something that is obsolete, that people don't need it anymore, or people are just not purchasing. So then that's not a problem either way, because again, you don't need to be an expert on the service, so that's not a problem. So just wanted to pretty much like get it out of the way. So therefore, on the number three, you need to be identifying a service that it's on demand. That's your thing. You need to be selling something that people are already purchasing from another people, because your goal here is to sell it better than the competition, right? But first, you need to be identifying like which is a good service, which is something I'm going to teach you on the next step. So there's a lot of research tools. Like you can use some research tools. For example, Fiverr.com is the easiest and most effective. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Google Trends, you can use YouTube.com, because the whole idea here is you need to be identifying what's popping. What are people talking about? Because for example, if you go to YouTube.com, you will see like in the recommended videos like what people are talking about. Like there's a lot of buzzing. I don't know, maybe crypto, maybe drop shipping. There's like many different things that people are talking, and from there you can identify a trend and see like, okay, can I offer this as a service, which I'm going to explain you in a little bit. Because here, the reason why Fiverr is so good as a research tool is because you can see with your own damn eyes if people are making money. And let me show you like a quick example right here. If you go here to Fiverr.com, you can pretty much browse around a lot of different categories. You know what I'm saying? But this is like a service that I know they're making a lot of money. Social media marketing. Just to give you like a quick sample. Social media marketing, let's go with this person. Look at this. She has 75 orders in queue, and these are their prices. So you can do the math. You know what I'm saying? You can start researching other people or similar services to see if there is demand on a service. So your only goal here is to pick something that is on demand. Like you can even choose like from different services. This is social media marketing. Maybe you want to do web design. You go to web design, and again, you don't have to be an expert. You're gonna be thinking like, oh, but how can I do it if I'm not an expert on social media marketing, web design? That's not your problem at the moment. Your only thing is that you must select, because I'm telling you, I'm giving you like the how you can actually make money with this. How can you make money with this? Okay, so therefore you can see web design. So let's say this guy, for example, let's see how many orders they have in queue, like 66 orders. He do WordPress websites, have a lot of repeat clients. This is their prices. So you can understand that they're making quite a few bucks. You know what I'm saying? And you can just go and browse here. It's super simple how you can do it. And that's pretty much like the way I definitely would recommend it, because it's super easy. At the end of the day, again, the only thing here is that you must identify a service that it's on demand. So this is pretty much like a very essential step. And then we have, okay, but now you select it. Like, okay, now you know what you want to offer. So how you get clients? There's three ways I suggest to get clients. And first of all, it's pretty much Fiverr. You have also Upwork, and you have like cold DMs. These are my suggested. There might be other ways. These are my suggested ways that you can, get clients. Because at the end of the day, like you have to pretty much identify first, like where do you want to get the clients from. So you need to also pick some services. Fiverr is best if you don't want to chase clients. Upwork is the biggest freelancing platform, and cold DMs can get you like pretty much high paying clients. So let me just like break it down each one, because you need to be identifying like which one is better for you according to your preferences. You know what I'm saying? So basically, for me, my favorite one is Fiverr. This is like where I made my money from. Like Fiverr, it's like super simple for me. I understand everything, the ins and outs of the whole business. However, I know a lot of people making a lot of money from Upwork or from cold DM. So let me just go ahead and go with Fiverr. The beauty about Fiverr pretty much here is that clients come to you. It's pretty much called warm leads. You know what I'm saying? Because instead of you chasing clients, clients come to you because it's a marketplace. So they see your services here. Like, for example, you see these guys, people come to them, they look for web design. And the whole idea here is to rank your gig on the first pages and whatnot. Like there's many other ways you can do it. Like, for example, there's paid promotions and whatnot, which is very, very efficient. But pretty much like you see, when you're here, like clients come to you, they're asking for you for your service. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I really love Fiverr, and this is why I was able to scale my business very, very aggressively, because it was like quite simple. You know, I wasn't chasing clients. You know, clients were chasing me, which was crazy. Like when I was starting out, I was like, how does it work? You know, but then I learned it over time. So the key point here is that you need to know how to play the Fiverr game, because Fiverr is pretty much a game. You know, the whole idea here is to pretty much use the algorithm to your advantage in order for you to be like display on the first pages and whatnot, which is something I'll learn with experience. It's really not that complicated because it's pretty much based on a review system, as you can see here. So it's quite simple. And you know, your competition is actually not as good as you think. You know, it took me like 12 months to become the number one in the web design industry in the platform here. Like it took me to like 12 months. Like I was offering e-commerce services, so it took me like 12 months. So you need to know how to play the game. You know, it took me a while to realize why I was successful, but yeah, it's very good. And the pros about Fiverr is that you don't need to have any money to begin with. You don't need to do any sales calls. You can work from anywhere, anytime. You can pretty much own your own times. And clients come to you, and they have this snowball effect, because as you start making sales, as you start getting 5-star reviews, like Fiverr start pushing your gig towards more buyers, which therefore like you make more money. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, again, I was able to scale like this. You know, of course, like have some drops and all that stuff because I didn't know how to play the game, but then I learned it, and that's why I was able to pretty much like scale back again, and so on and so on. So it's not always like pink, you know what I'm saying? Like there's also some cons because there's a lot of competition. If you go here, so it's like you can see here, like there's a ton of people at 39,000 results. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people. However, as I was telling you, it's very easy to outcompete them because most of your competition here are not good. And this is something I'm going to emphasize on the next steps. But yeah, this is something you need to be aware of. High competitions, buyers can be a pain, because I've been in the platform for the past 5 years, and sometimes they're a pain. You know what I'm saying? So they're like low quality buyers. They're like, it's a little bit complicated sometimes, but I mean, if it makes money, it makes sense, right? So also, like, it's more of a lower ticket service, because like usually I would suggest anywhere around 100 to $1,000 as a range for your market your services because of the competition. But again, if it makes money, it makes sense. And it's a little bit slower to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to gain some momentum. So it takes a little bit of time. But once you pretty much like get some momentum again, it's like pretty much a snowball effect. And that's what happened. It really took me 3 months. Maybe it could have taken me longer, maybe less. It really depends. But that's the way it worked for me. So yeah. So then we have Upwork. Let's see what about Upwork. Upwork, you have to apply for jobs and clients, you know. So the main key point here is that you need to be chasing proposals. That's the thing. There's a little thing called connects that you need to pretty much like buy connects in order for you to apply for job proposal, which can be a little bit discouraging, because when you're starting out as a freelancer, what you want is to earn money, right? So this can be a little bit discouraging when you're starting out. So I don't know. That's why Fiverr, I mean, Upwork is not my favorite. I know a lot of people making a lot of money. Why? Because it has like a lot of pros. It's the biggest freelancing platform, and they have like very good paying clients, and they have a lot of good trust. You know what I'm saying? So people trust Upwork, in generally speaking. I think Fiverr is competing toe to toe, but I think Upwork has like a better trust, but it's a little bit hard to compete. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to be chasing job proposals and whatnot. So you chase them. And what I like about Fiverr is that, in the other way around, it's more like a, oh, you need me, I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? But that's why you're looking for my services. You're looking for my expertise. And here's a little bit more about like, hey, I'm very good. Like just always chasing clients. Like, hey, I'm very good. Please hire me. Please hire me. So it can be a little bit stressful. It's not on my expertise. So there's a reason why I choose Upwork to begin. I mean, Fiverr to begin with. And then we have here the cons. You need to apply, you know, the connects to apply for jobs. You know, there's high competition as well, and it's harder to build momentum. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a little bit tricky, but you can always pick based on your preference. You know, because then we have here the cold DM. And for cold DM, you need to send a ton of emails, but one good client can be worth 1 to 1,000. I mean, 1,000 to $5,000 a month, which is very, very good. You know what I'm saying? But it can take a little bit of time. So the key point here is that you must send a lot of proposals, and you have some sort of portfolio, because other than freelancing platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, like what would someone hire from you? Let's say you're cold DMing people and whatnot. Like how are they going to trust you just because you send them an email like claiming you're an expert? Like they're going to believe you. You know, like you need to be having like some sort of portfolio or proof or something like that. But with Fiverr or Upwork, like you don't have that stuff, because you're pretty much backed by the platform. And you know, I started with zero reviews and anything, and I still was able to pretty much like scale my business from here. Like I have like only 2 clients on March, and boom, boom. You know, like they still give you the chance as long as you know how to sell, which is something I'm gonna explain to you, because that's the most important thing. That's how you make money: selling, 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 selling. I'm gonna emphasize this a lot. Okay, so Basically that's what you need. And the pros, like for example, they have high paid clients because you can always pretty much go ahead and reach out to people that have like a lot of money, which they will be happy to pay for your services. It really depends on the service you provide. But for example, it could be email marketing, and they pay a good amount of money if you're actually good at delivering their service, which you don't have to be an expert on. But that's something that can be very good, because you can get like 3 4 clients and you can make $10,000 a month, but it's a little bit tricky, you need to it's a little bit hard to stand out, so the only good thing as well is that you can chase them all day. You can send as many emails, as many cold DMs, wherever, Instagram, Twitter. You can use cold DMs. You can use LinkedIn. You can always do it all day, every day until you land a client. So it's a good thing to have. And the cons, like, you need to display proof. As I was telling you, like some sort of portfolio, and it's a little bit hard to land clients. So that's it. That's the thing. That's why I don't love like cold DM. Like for me, it was always like I just I'm very good at selling, but I wasn't very good at just reaching out to people and how to find the people and all that stuff. So, but these three are very good, to be honest. So you should be like picking any of or all of three, So we can go to the next step, which is your key to success as a freelancer. So first of all, you need to choose one or all three ways of getting clients. So you can start with Upwork, Fiverr, cold DMing, whatever it is, but you must first choose a service, of course, and then you pretty much like, okay, where can I get my clients from? And I already told you, so you can choose one or all of three. So then you have this. Your only skill here is learn how to sell, because again, a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to become like an expert in web design, in social media marketing, on whatever it is where you're selling, and that's not your job. You know what I'm saying? If you're good at it, good. That's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But your only goal here, and the thing that's gonna earn you the money, it's pretty much learning how to sell. You need to be selling your service, like pretty much like, because when people reach out to you, like, you need to be pretty much like convincing like building a good offer and convincing the client that your service is like the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, like, you need to be displaying like everything. You need to be on authority on this. You need to be pretty much like giving like good pricing, like reducing buyer's remorse. Like, you need to be playing with all this psychology stuff, and it's worth actually learning how to sell. So that's your pretty much only skill that you need to pretty much understand, because I can tell you all of these. I can tell you like, oh, this is like a good service to offer. Like, let's say you pick social media marketing and you start like trying to offer the services and whatnot. Like, if you don't know how to sell, nobody's gonna purchase from you. So you need to be emphasizing this. This is what makes you money, because like, you can watch as many videos as you want in YouTube about any sort of business. If you don't know how to sell, odds of success are slim to none. That's why I'm saying like this can be transitioned to even any business. I started e-commerce and I knew I was good at selling because my own websites were like converting very well, but still, like, it was because I was very good at convincing the customer to purchase from me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes everything much easier, because like, again, like, you can watch a lot of videos, you can watch like in any sort of business you're interested in, but if you don't know how to sell, like, odds of you succeeding is like very, very slim. So I also just like, watching videos on YouTube on Russell Brunson. I really love Russell Brunson, and like how to create irresistible offers, how to create an offer. Like, in an offer is pretty much like a composite of your price and also, like, for example, reducing the buyer's remorse, because you can understand like you have a very good price, but they will be like, but what if things go wrong? Like, you need to be giving them some sort of guarantees, but not exactly guarantees, but maybe you say like, okay, you know what, like, there's no guarantees, but you have like lifetime support with me. So there's many different ways you can actually sell your service. I don't want to go very in depth in this because I can talk about selling like all day long. You know what I'm saying? But this is something you must emphasize. So please do this and take this very, very seriously, because again, you can watch another video on how to become a freelancer, the best way to become a freelancer and whatnot. Like, yeah, you can understand how to become a freelancer. That doesn't mean you're gonna make money. You want to make money. That's the thing. You want to become a freelancer, because without money, like, what are you freelancing for? So you need to understand it. It's all about selling. Again, like, selling, 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 selling. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you, like, this is why I was successful. This is why I was able to do this. This is why I was able to earn like this amount of money, just pure profits as a freelancer when I started out. So the very first thing you got to get is like, first get clients. Get clients. It really doesn't matter if you're not good at social media marketing. First get clients, and then you figure out the rest. You can either delegate it or learn it. Or you can learn it YouTube University. Just go to youtube.com and you can learn everything. In the meantime, you should be offering your service and just like try to close clients. And then once you start getting clients, that's a good problem to have, because now either you can pretty much hire someone, or you can start learning on YouTube, or you can use ChatGPT. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have like infinite amount of tools to actually succeed with this, but you shouldn't be focusing first on getting good at it. You should be focusing first on selling, on getting the money first, okay? Getting the clients. Then once everything is working, once you start like earning a little bit of money, that's when you double down on what's working best. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe you're trying Upwork, maybe you're trying Fiverr, maybe you're trying like cold DMing, whatever it is that's giving you money, like, just double down on it. Like, forget all about it, just double down and keep going. Like, iterate and refine, iterate and refine, because that's what I'm gonna give you like this, because I was like, okay, when I knew I was earning money, I was like, okay, I just double down on this, double down, and then I went a little bit off, and I was like, okay, how can I iterate, because it wasn't working well, you know what I'm saying? I was selling very well, but then my service delivery was whack, so I was like, okay, I need to become better at pretty much like service delivery so I can start selling more, and therefore that's what happened, you know what I'm saying? But I was still not good, so like a lot of, I have like a lot of things going on with this, but it's pretty much all about iterating and refine. That's why I have like the confidence of teaching you this. Give me one second. Okay, so that's pretty much your keys to success. Like, I can't stress this enough, because like I'm telling, I mean, I just don't know how to explain like the importance of this, because a lot of you guys like just waste a lot of time just watching any sort of videos. So let's go again, like straight up to the, let me see if I don't have any notes here. No, let's go here to the tips and the bonuses. Okay, the very first thing also that you must do, like, as when you like pick a product or a service to pretty much offer, you need to be selling for at least $100 profit, because you need to make a little bit of money. Like, for example, with Fiverr, in my case, I was suggesting like 100 to 1,000 as a margin range, because like there's a lot of competition, but like you don't want to be selling below that. You can, and there's a lot of people making a lot of money below that, for example in copywriting, but usually I would recommend having at least $100 in profit, because that's easy numbers. So you want to make $1,000, you just have to work with 10 clients or 10 gigs, and that's quite simple once you understand how Fiverr works. So for example, here, I don't know how many people I was working in May. I work with 52 jobs completed. That's what I was earning. So yeah, also got tips. So you can get tips even. Also, you don't get attached to the price, because at the end of the day, you're gonna find like the sweet spot. It's basically on what the market demands. You know what I'm saying? Because as you start getting clients, you can start testing like different prices until you find your sweet spot. So this is something like, it's a good problem to have. But first, like, it doesn't really matter until you're getting clients. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, you need to be focusing on getting clients, and then you start like refining. That's why I was saying like iterate and refine. And it's normal, of course, like, to get discouraged. Like, when you're starting out, like, sometimes getting discouraged because you don't get any clients. It's very, very normal, but you need to be committed and persistent. You know what I'm saying? Because just because you get discouraged, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. Like, I have proof. And if you also want to know proof that, for example, a place like Fiverr work, you just have to go here, just check how much these people are making. Just check, like, this is proof. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it has 17 hours in queue. You can check their profiles. How much money have they been? I mean, of course, they don't display the money, but you can do the math. You know what I'm saying? Okay, 122 reviews. They've been sold for these prices. So you can give you like an idea that there's money to be made. You know what I'm saying? And also the assurance that you pretty much, like, you don't need to be like super like an expert in order to rank on these pages, because I'm telling you, it took me 12 months again to become like number one in my industry. And it was because it was very easy to outcompete them. So people are not good at selling. So basically the main reason why I was able to go that high is because I was very good at selling. I was out competing the people because I was building better offers and my communication was good. So this is something I want to touch upon. Like, anything you can do is pretty much like, by just don't being too serious, because clients don't want to be pretty much like thinking they're talking with a robot or something. Because again, a lot of people make the mistake, they try to be too professional. Most people just want to be comfortable for the fact that you have like other good communication and that you're pretty much a normal person. You don't have to be like super formal and whatnot. Like, I'm telling you this from experience. I work with many clients. I work with 3,000 clients so far, and it's all about the communication. You know what I'm saying? I don't even type very well. My grammar is not amazing, but they know they're talking with someone. You know what I'm saying? So just be yourself. Don't like overcomplicate stuff. It's quite simple. Also, you can learn everything through YouTube University. Like, for example, if you're afraid, like, oh, how can I offer a better service on social media marketing, you can just go to youtube.com and you will find it. It's very, very simple. So also, like, selling is your advantage. Selling is pretty much your advantage, and you must always over deliver, because that's how you reach in clients. Long-term success comes from buyer satisfaction. This is what I'm talking about, because I was not having like very good buyer satisfaction. That's why I was getting like these drops. That's what, like, I was iterating and refining, because that's what makes you like long-term success. You want to achieve the sustainability, because yeah, you can have the good months, but it's not good when you're not making that much money eventually. So it's always good to have. So that's one of the most important things you need to be taking care in consideration. Hold on. Now let me just give you like a personal summary. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a summary of what you need to do in order to be like successful with this. Okay, number one. First of all, you need to be pretty much selecting something that it's on demand. Okay, great. Let me just pause this. Like, if you want to actually have the keys to success, first of all, sell something on demand. Then sell it better than the competition. And in order for you to ensure your long-term success, prioritize buyer satisfaction. And as a bonus, To have always happy clients, you must go above and beyond, meaning over deliver. Just always, make sure that the client is expecting something, like that they don't expecting something. So for example, I don't know, you're delivering your service, you just give a little bit more. Oh, what the hell, there's a snake in my pool, what the hell. So yes, always basically over deliver. I'm gonna take the snake out of the pool.